The Texas sun was a relentless hammer on the back of Kalen's neck as he wrestled with the rotted wooden post. Each splinter that dug into his calloused palms was a reminder of the life he was desperately trying to rebuild, not for himself, but for his 7-year-old daughter, Maya, who watched from their own weedy backyard with solemn, two old eyes. The broken fence separating their modest rental from the sprawling, manicured property next door felt like a symbol of everything wrong with his world. A boundary failing, a line he couldn't seem to cross into stability and peace. He couldn't afford a handyman, let alone new lumber, but he could offer his sweat and the stubborn determination that was all he had left. If you believe that kindness and second chances can change the world, then please support our channel. Hit that like button, subscribe to Grandma's Book, and share this story with someone who needs a little hope today. The post had been swaying for a week, a casualty of the last spring storm, and Kalen knew his reclusive neighbor, an elegant, silver-haired woman named Alara, was away. He'd seen her leave in a sensible sedan. It was a simple calculation for a man with nothing to give but his labor. He would fix it for her. A quiet act of neighborly grace, a way to prove to himself he was still a man who could mend things, not just break them. He'd spent his last $40 on concrete mix and a single new post, the cost a sharp ache in his stomach that meant beans and rice for dinner for the rest of the week. As he dug, the earth gave way stubbornly, the heat mirage shimmering over Alara's immaculate gardens. Maya brought him a glass of tepid water, her small face pinched with worry. "Is the fence lady gonna be mad, Daddy?" she'd asked. "No. Sweet pea," he'd reassured her, his voice rough. "We're just being good neighbors." The old Kalen, the one before the layoff and the ensuing avalanche of grief and debt, would have hired a crew. Now, he was the crew. His muscles burned and his shirt was plastered to his back. He was so focused on tamping down the concrete around the new post, that he didn't hear the quiet purr of the luxury car rolling up the long, hidden driveway of Alara's property, nor the soft click of the garden gate. He only looked up when a shadow fell over his work. Alara stood there, not in the simple clothes he'd vaguely imagined, but in a linen dress that whispered of quiet money, her expression unreadable behind sunglasses. Kalen's heart sank, embarrassment heating his cheeks. He braced for a cool question, a demand to know what he was doing on her property. Instead, she removed her glasses, revealing eyes the color of a summer sky, etched with fine lines that spoke of laughter and sorrow in equal measure. "You're repairing my fence," she said, her voice soft, not with frailty, but with a profound and surprising warmth. It wasn't a question. Kalen stumbled over an explanation, gesturing to his house, to Maya's tiny face now peeking from behind the curtains. I saw it was broken. I had some time." He hid his raw, blistered hands behind his back. Alara's gaze didn't leave his face. She looked past his embarrassment, past the sweat and the struggle, and seemed to see the very core of his weary effort. "No one has done something so quietly kind for me in a very long time," she said, her voice thick with an emotion he couldn't place. "Thank you, Kalen." She knew his name. He was too stunned to speak as she turned and walked towards her house, leaving him standing in the sun, confused and profoundly seen. The next morning, a contractor arrived at Kalen's door. "Ms. Thorne sent me," the man said, nodding towards Alara's house. "She has a list." That list turned out to be a miracle. Over the next week, a new roof was installed, the leaky faucets were fixed, and the ancient, wheezing air conditioner unit was replaced with a modern, silent one. Kalen tried to protest, to march over and tell her it was too much, but the contractor just smiled. "She's not the kind of woman you say no to, son. And she said to tell you that good neighbors look out for each other." It was only when Kalen, overwhelmed, went to the local hardware store to at least try to pay for the fence materials himself that he understood the scale of his miscalculation. The owner, when Kalen mentioned Alara Thorne's name, let out a low whistle. "Alara Thorne, son, you didn't know. She doesn't just own that big house. She owns this plaza, the new community center, half the downtown storefronts. She pretty much owns half the town." The revelation landed like a physical blow. The woman he'd pitied as a lonely retiree, to whom he'd offered his meager charity, was a titan of industry, a quiet philanthropist, a legend. He felt a fool. That evening, there was a soft knock on his door. Alara stood there, holding a pie and a manila envelope. "May I come in?" she asked. Inside, she looked around the small, now repaired living room where Maya slept on the couch. Her eyes were gentle. You thought you were helping a little old lady, she began. But you see, Kaylin, in a world full of people who see my wealth and want a piece of it, you saw a broken fence and simply wanted to fix it. You gave me a gift far more valuable than any property, a moment of pure, unasked for kindness. She handed him the envelope. Inside were the paid, in full receipts for every repair, and a single key. The old Miller place, she said. It's yours. It's a small house, but it's on a good piece of land. A place for Maya to grow. Consider it an investment in a good man. If this story has touched your heart, if you believe in the power of a simple act of decency, then please let us know in the comments. Your engagement helps us share more stories of light in this world. Share this video with a friend and remind them that hope is never truly lost. Colin stood in the doorway, watching Alara walk back to her home, the two properties no longer divided by the stark line of haves and have-nots, but connected by the bridge of a single, selfless act. The new fence stood straight and strong, a testament not to what he had fixed, but to what had been rebuilt within him. He looked at Maya, sleeping peacefully in a cool, safe house, and for the first time in years, he felt the heavy weight on his soul begin to lift, replaced by the dawning light of a second chance. Before we end, we have a special request for you, dear viewer. Please take a moment and comment one word that describes how you are feeling after hearing Kaylin's story. Thank you for watching, and remember, your next small act of kindness could be the miracle someone is waiting for.